in 100 videos, we've never spoken about gear, more than 100 videos. So today, that's the plan. And I wanna talk about a few things first. If you talk to any travel videographer, travel vloggers, travel filmmaker, whatever we call ourselves these days, they will say the same thing. It doesn't matter what gear you have, it doesn't matter how big your camera is, it is just how you use it. Just like your And that's true. I think if you give any of us a smartphone and an internet connection, we can create a beautiful travel video and we can create a successful YouTube channel. But at a certain point, of course, what you shoot with does matter. It allows you to capture things in a special, unique, creative way. And today we're gonna talk about what I have been shooting with for, it's been about 4 years now for a lot of this gear. So one thing that maybe a lot of you don't know, probably most of you don't know, is before this channel really started to heat up, like 2 years ago, I worked as a travel filmmaker, mostly a one-man show, creating beautiful cinematic pieces for tourism boards all over the world.
These are the big machines.
Let your senses guide you. Come along with me in this place.
So, if you're ready, we're gonna go a crash course into what I used to film on Kick the Grind. Let's do it! So, starting off is camera bags. Yeah, I've gone through a lot of these guys and I gotta say, there's a lot of crappy camera bags out there. Like seriously, I don't know why some of them are designed the way they are. I've broken lenses because of poor designs. And anyway, after probably 5 or 6 different camera bags, I have found one that I love, and it's by Peak Design. They do not pay me a cent. And guys, if anyone from Peak Design is watching now, I love your stuff. And just start a referral program or something, or an ambassador program. I would love to be part of it. Anyway, the reason why I love this bag is it's filled with compartments, which is not super unique to this bag, but it sure helps me keep things organized. There's pockets in the front, pockets in the back, a lot of room on the inside, a really interesting latch system with magnets and things to really quick access. But the thing that I didn't know that was one of the most important aspects of a camera bag that I only found out that I loved after I bought this one is this thing is perfectly balanced. It's like a goddamn samurai sword or a chef cleaver. All these handles, when this bag is filled, you pick it up and it's completely balanced. That helps me carry it helps me work with it helps me flip it around and access the pouches. Honestly, it is such a good design. Everything they make is a good design, and we'll talk a lot more about their products shortly because I've got most of them actually. Speaking of pockets, so the one on the top I feel is one of the most important in any camera bag because in there you can keep things that you need instantly. And like I said, after so many years of doing this professionally, I've discovered one of the most important things is being able to just get set up and shoot as fast as possible. Because if you're doing travel videos, you don't know when the dolphin's gonna do the backflip over the front of the boat, and you don't know when your friend falls into a patch of mud in the jungle and they're trying to get out. You just want to be able to grab the camera, grab what you need, and film in any circumstances. So in the top, I always put, in my opinion, some of the most important stuff. I got sent these lenses by a company called Pixter, and they're a French company, and they're for your smartphone. They allow me to be creative in a way that I haven't been creative before. So this is a wide angle one, like a fisheye one, and I've got a macro one as well. And I've been able to capture some really cool stuff in the moment that I wouldn't have been able to. And the cool thing is that your smartphone is always in your pocket anyway, and so it's just easy to go bam, 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 grab it and capture something really unique and interesting. And I think in our day and age, being able to have any kind of unique angle that isn't the standard smartphone angle, as far as like how the image is portrayed, is very, very useful because you want to have your stuff stand out. Those lenses are a really easy way to have something that's always in your pocket, take photos that are very, very unique. Check out Pixter. Also in there is a GoPro Hero 5, and that's basically for the same thing. So those are always in the top, quick access. I also have batteries in there too, memory cards, all those things go in the top pouch because you can grab them right away. Moving on to bigger cameras. I have fell in love with the Sony cameras. I'm not the only one, it's not a secret at all. This camera, the A7S, has allowed me to capture things that was basically impossible before it came out. The low light performance of this camera was groundbreaking.
Oh, this is incredible.
And what they did with the sensor, being able to, for me to crank it up to ISO 500,000, was the biggest advance in camera technology, I think, since, I don't know, in the past 10 years at least. It was incredible. To fill in another little niche is the mirrorless cameras are smaller, but still quite big. And if I'm going out clubbing with some friends, or we're doing nightlife, or we're in kind of a sketchy area, we don't have a big ass camera around our necks, like the one I'm on now, or that one, this is a great camera. It's a Sony RX100 Mark IV. This thing is like up to Mark VI now. But very powerful, very good in low light, has insane slow motion. Your pocket. So shooting nightlife, shooting things when you want to be a bit incognito, it's perfect. On top is two little muffs, and that is when it's windy, you can still talk to the camera, and it protects the camera holes from the wind so it doesn't go. Very special knives have called mango when you're trying to film. Anyway, this thing fills in the gaps that the other ones don't cover. Jumping on lenses, the one I'm filming on now is my workhorse. I use it most of the time. It's a 16 to 35 millimeter Sony f4 zoom lens. And I think no matter what system you're using, Canon, Sony, Nikon, the 16 to 35 zoom range is so good for travel, for vlogging, for everything. You can do handheld stuff, you can do landscape stuff, it's really good. And what it doesn't do so well is the zoom stuff. And originally, when I was shooting Canon, I had this, which is a 70 to 300 zoom lens. Now I've got an adapter to make it work on my Sony system. I still use this sometimes for shooting animals in the woods, very specifically, but I don't use it very often because I've fallen in love with this lens, and it's a 90 millimeter macro lens. You might think a macro lens and a telephoto zoom lens are for completely different things, right? This is for zooming in super, super far, look at it go. Whoop. And this is for shooting things really, really, really close up, like the opposite. But the thing is, the macro lenses, the good ones, are 90 millimeters. So it's actually, you can shoot things that are farther away. It can focus on things really, really close, but it can also focus on things far away, right? So 90 millimeters is actually a pretty decent zoom, and the aperture is f2.8, which makes it really good in low light, really, really, really good for shooting portraits and things that are a little bit farther away. And so I just honestly use this very often for shooting people, for shooting bugs, whatever it be. A 90 millimeter macro for myself has been a very impressive lens. And if I have two that I use 90% of the time, it's this and it's a 16 to 35. More niche pick for me is this one, and it's quite new, but it's allowed me to do things otherwise that were basically impossible. So it is a Rokinon, not sure, 24 millimeter f1.5 lens. The Firefly video, the Firefly Sanctuary in Tlaxcala, Mexico, was only possible with this lens, f1.5, and the A7S. I don't think there's another camera combination in this world that is under $500,000 that could capture that kind of low light detail. So I got this specifically to shoot bioluminescence, stars, the Milky Way, whatever it be, because wide angle, low light lens, I couldn't find one better than this online. This lens is great. Lastly, as I have this, it's a 55 millimeter 1.8 Sony lens, and I honestly don't use it very often. I used it in the beginning of this video to shoot that really soft bokeh type stuff with the gear. I don't really like prime lenses with the exception of the 90 millimeter. I feel like for travel, you want zoom lenses because they're more applicable. And always changing lenses is not good, especially for these Sony mirrorless cameras. Mirrorless means there's no angled mirror, so you can't look through the top of it and see out the lens. It's just another screen you see in the viewfinder. And when they remove that, when you open it up, there's just the camera sensor. and you can see there's already dust on it. That dust in photos you can remove. In video, it's stuck there, and it's broken my heart so many times. I don't think prime lenses are super useful for travel. It's extra time spent switching and extra lens changes for these cameras. I prefer zoom lenses. So when your camera does have dust spots all over the sensor because you're shooting mirrorless and you're changing lenses like everybody does, I have learned to clean my own sensor, and I have a whole kit devoted to trying to make that thing silky clean. A blower, some swabs, and that. And I highly recommend you learn how to clean your own sensor, because when you're in the jungle, you can't send it away to a repair center. You have to be able to do it yourself, or you're gonna have a week or so with dots all over your sensor. Also, right beside that in my backpack is filters. There's 3 kinds of filters. UV filters, which are bullshit. Now, well, I think they used to protect UV, but now they're just basically pieces of glass. And I don't use them. And in the beginning, they always say use a UV filter because you'll scratch your lens and you could break it. And I have scratched lenses, and I've tried to keep them on, but honestly, it's another thing to worry about, another thing to clean, another thing to take off when I'm putting on the lenses I do find useful. Like a variable ND filter. And both of these things, once you use them for the first time, you don't ever want to shoot without them. So a variable ND is basically just like adjustable sunglasses, where are we, for your camera. And I use this almost exclusively for time lapses. What it allows you to do is slow the shutter speed when you're doing these time lapses, and it gives everything a blurry motion effect. It is awesome, and it makes your time lapses look way, way better. The second one I find useful is a circular polarizer, which might just look like sunglasses for your camera again, and again, it kind of is. But it's just like a polarized set of sunglasses. It takes reflections off things. One thing I didn't know before I started shooting with one is it takes reflection off leaves. And so if you're shooting a beautiful landscape, you're in Banff, Canada, and there's blue water, green trees, beautiful blue sky with clouds, and you put one of these on, you don't realize how much detail you're missing until you shoot with one of these things, and how much shine is on leaves. So the detail comes back in the leaves, the foliage gets a nice dark green color, the blue sky gets a bit darker, more detailed, the water has details back from the waves. For landscape stuff, it is like the primo shit. And a circular polarizer, I think, is doubly as useful as the ND filter, but if you're gonna pick one of the two, get the polarizer, because damn man, like you can get amazing stuff with the circular polarizer. So I've had 4 drones in the past 3 years, and I've only ended up losing 2 of them. I crashed a brand new Inspire into the side of a mountain.
Oh, it's so smashed.
I had a Phantom that I used for a while and then ended up selling it. And then I got my first Mavic, which got lost over a cliff in Spain. Spent all day trying to find the Mavic without any luck. The weather's been pretty shitty off and on, and we kind of wasted a day. And now I'm on my second Mavic, and I think this is where I'm gonna stay. The biggest thing for travel drone use is, in my opinion, getting it into the country without it being an enormous hassle. And taking an Inspire, which is the big drone DJI makes, taking a Phantom, which is still a bigger drone DJI makes, trying to get those through an X-ray, there's no getting through. They catch it. It looks like a giant drone. The Mavic does not look like a drone, and I go through X-rays, no questions. Every single time I took the Phantom or the Inspire through an X-ray, I got questioned, I got fined, I got confiscated once. Just like not fun when you first land in a place to have to worry your butt off about what's gonna happen to the drone. The Mavic, easy, you can get there. You do sacrifice a little bit in image quality. It's not so hot in low light like when the sun's setting, but I'll take that inconvenience over the convenience of just being able to shove it in my backpack. It fits in this. I can bring this and all my camera gear in that. With the Phantom, you have to have a separate backpack. It's extras to carry. This, I feel, is one of the best drones out there for travelers. For a long time, I shot with a glide cam when I shot with my Canon cameras. And glide cam is a brand of a stabilizer, of a gimbal. And they're fully manual, so there's no batteries, and every time you put the camera on, you have to adjust all the settings. And it was good. I did enjoy shooting on it. It was one less thing to charge, which was good, and I ended up getting this is in Ukraine, because the glide cam was too big for my new camera, which was the Sony, so I wanted to go for the smaller one. And I was incredibly impressed with the ease of use of this in Ukraine. So they're about the same price. This is battery operated. It breaks down into a couple pieces. I put the camera on, screwed it in, and it basically balanced itself in the first minutes. The other systems, they're notorious for being terrible to balance, and most people return them in the day or two because they can't get them balanced. This thing, dude, screwed it on, bam, super easy. Here on the top, you can see it has a quick plate, and that's because the quick plate is compatible with the Peak design system I have, as well as the tripod. It is for an Arca Swiss type mount like this. And here you can see that I could slide it on really quick to shoot, and let's say, okay, we're done shooting like that. I can take it off really fast. I can slap on the strap, and it's back on my neck in like, I'm taking my time now because I'm not in a rush, but there, back on my neck in just a few seconds, or back on the glide cam right away. All right, let's go freehand for a second. The tripod that I use is this one. It is by Three-Legged Thing, and it is a awesome tripod with an awesome name. So also has the Arca Swiss mount on the top, so I can go from, like I said, piece of kit to piece of kit really easily. It breaks down into a monopod, so I can use one of these legs, like so. Take it off and shoot with a stick. And also is very extremely light. So for microphones, they're one of those things in the beginning that you don't really think about too much, but this audio quality in video is super important. It is a Rode VideoMic Pro. And you might not think audio is super important in video until you watch a video with bad audio and then you don't even want to watch it. Audio is super important. So getting a good microphone that'll work and capture your voice really well is very important for if you're shooting in the wild world of your living room, or if you're shooting actually outside, something that's great. One problem outside, if you're on top of a mountain or by the ocean, is wind noise, and you can have one of these. It's called a dead cat, and it blocks the rustling of the wind. I am looking for the Sony RX100. They're basically the same thing. Both of these have the same purpose, to block the rustling of the wind so people can hear your voice and not just the wind slamming against the little camera hole on the top of your camera or on the front of the microphone. Both very important if you're gonna be doing any kind of adventure stuff with wind. On the front of the bag, I have a thing called a capture, and how this thing works is it can happen a few ways. Where's the camera? So I'm shooting with my camera and I have to climb a rope or climb outside of a cliff or something, and I need my hands. Let's say I have to help a baker make dough. I don't know, pick an example. I can slam it in here, use my hands to do whatever I need to do, and then pick up the camera again immediately. It's really close by, and it helps a lot if you're doing anything adventurous that you need to be able to use your hands. And also with this, I have a capture, one of these on my chest for the camera, on my hip for the lens switching thing. I can just go pop, 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 switch lenses, take off the camera. I can do all of that in just seconds. Well, dudes, I think that's it. I've been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes. It'll probably cut down to about 20. So you'll see the best stuff. But I hope you had a bit of a background dive into what I feel is one of the more effective, efficient ways to be able to get awesome footage very quickly. And again, I feel like that is one of the most important things. One thing I hate doing is having to put my bag down, switch a bunch of stuff, and lose 5 minutes every hour or less being able to switch gear. And I feel like this system is awesome, and recommend checking out some of the products below if you can. Disclaimer though, so below there is a list of links going to product pages to see these things. These are Amazon affiliate links, and how myself and a lot of YouTubers work with these things is if you click on them, you basically give us a few % of what you buy. And if you watch the channel, which obviously you do if you're here, you realize that maybe not all my videos are advertiser friendly. I have to say, Yansu, that I'm not used to seeing dead bodies. So I'm not racking in the advertising dollars. But hey, we get to film some awesome stuff because of that. But if you want to help me out a little bit to be able to make awesome videos like this and some of the other ones you've seen in this channel, it just helps to check out those links. Again, no pressure, don't have to buy anything. But if you're interested in gear, just consider doing it that way. Thank you guys for watching this extra extended Kick the Grind video this week. And I hope you learned a few things about how to shoot better and also maybe some ideas for getting some gear of your own. Experiences over possessions. Kick the grind, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.